Shaykh Maulana Qaddasallahu Sir, may Allah raise his station. Shaykh Effendi Sahib al-Saif, may Allah raise his station. May their feet always be in our necks. They have been warning the nation, the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ, east and west, north and south, Muslim and non-Muslim, about this Akhir Zaman, all their lives. I'm not talking yesterday. I'm not talking from 10 years ago. I'm not talking that they're talking about Akhir Zaman just because of a few YouTube videos. No, they've been speaking about it. And this awareness of Akhir Zaman, it did not start with them too. How the awliya Allah going to do something that the Prophet ﷺ never did? This thinking of Akhir Zaman and to watch out for the fitna, the confusion of Akhir Zaman, it started all the way from the Holy Prophet ﷺ, 1400 years ago, speaking about Dajjal and the fitna of Dajjal. Because this world is ending, our lives are ending. Holy Prophet ﷺ, he did not come into this world saying, I'm the first prophet. He came as the last prophet. Although he is Sayyidina al-awwalin wal-akhirin, but that is different. Talking about his time here on this world. He came as a prophet of Akhir Zaman, as a Nabi of Akhir Zaman for the Akhir Zaman. 124,000 prophets came, and 124,000 prophets have been talking about Holy Prophet ﷺ, the last messenger, and the conditions of the Akhir Zaman. So it is not just from 1,000 years, 1,300 years. It is from our father Adam ﷺ, saying, your mother and I, we came from paradise. You were born here from this world. Our home is not this world. Our home is paradise. I'm a man, but I'm also a prophet. I'm your father, but I'm also a messenger from Allah. And this world will go through so many changes. And if, after I pass, the last prophet were to come, accept him. Hold on to him. Some of them, they believed. They say, we hear and we obey. Some of them, they did not. They were the children of prophets, first generation in this world. They did not. They say, you're grown old, you're delusional, you start to imagine things. This world is all that there is. The 5 senses that we have is real. There's nothing else beyond that. You're getting old, Father, they're saying. So from that time, already it's split. And the splitting is not Allah who is splitting people, like some they believe. Allah, for whatever reason, prefer one son over another son. Adam alayhi salam, for whatever reason, prefer Habil instead of Qabil. You say it's arbitrary. There's no reason. Just like that. No. Our Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not do anything without a reason. Everything that He has created, from the smallest atoms to the insects to the biggest galaxies, there is a reason. And it is for man to discover what that reason is. It brings him closer to his Lord. It makes him to understand the greatness of his Lord. When he can find the greatness of his Lord in the smallest atom, when he can find the greatness of his Lord in the biggest galaxies. So from that time, there was already a split. Because those who are saying, well, Allah just prefer one over the other. Adam alayhi salam just prefer one over the other. They say Ibrahim alayhi salam just prefer one over the other. What do you think this is? Children? Child's play? We're talking about haqq. So from that time, the children of the Prophet Adam alayhi salam, there's already a split. Some believed, some didn't believe. And that continued. That continued. That continued. 124,000 prophets. Some believed, some didn't believe. Some believed, most didn't believe. And some, like what our Shaykh is saying, on the day of judgment, some prophets, they're going to stand on the day of judgment. They will not have one single follower from the ummah. Not one behind them. All of them rejecting. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ will have the biggest nation who is following Haqq. So it is. There's been a split there. Every prophet came to talk about the last prophet and to talk about the conditions of the last days. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ talked about the conditions of the last days. And his Sahaba Kiram talked about the conditions of the last days. And from time to time to time, from the Tabi to the Tabi Tabi'in to the Tabi Tabi Tabi'in, continuing until Judgment Day, there are those who are going to talk about the conditions of the last days and to take lesson from it. It is not stopping people from the nation from establishing things, Islam, the practice of Islam in this world. It is not saying give up on everything and just wait. No. Holy Prophet is saying even if you know world is going to end tomorrow, your job is to plant the date tree. And the date tree takes 40 years. 40 years for it to grow and to give fruit. It says your work, your job is to plant date trees. You know, Qiyamah is tomorrow, plant the date tree. But he has spoken about the conditions of the Akhir Zaman to his Sahaba Kiram down to the various last details. And Shaykh Maulana, Sultan al-Awliya, and Sahib al-Saif, Shaykh Abdul Karim, has been speaking about this all their lives. Prophet ﷺ said, I am the last of the prophets. My nation is the last nation. It says, between me and Judgment Day is only 1.5 days, he's saying. Only 1.5 days left. I am like the prophet that is sent in the time of Asr. Asr time, before you turn left and right, is already Maghrib. And because the Muslims are believing in this and understanding the value of time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing on, they were able to bring haqq, they were able to bring justice, they were able to bring the mercy of Allah and His Prophet to this world. They did not wait, they ran. They did not run for dunya, they ran for akhirat. Some time ago, it started to become very popular. Everyone is talking about Dajjal. Everyone is talking about Akhir Zaman. Arrival, everyone is speaking about, oh, these are the signs. But you know, when something that is not supported by the awliya Allah, even if it's some knowledge, it will just finish. There is no intention, there is no action, there is no goal, there is no destiny, there is no support. If there is support, even if it's small, you believe in it, even if it's a couple of people, it will sustain. It's not only just going to sustain, it will start growing. So a few years ago, everyone is talking about Akhir Zaman. Oh, this is Dajjal, this is Antichrist, this is that. What happened? What happened now? Gas finish. Finish. Because they're taking the gas from themselves, not from the higher sources. They're driving the car from themselves. Is not something that is given to them. Where are you going anyway with that car? Do you know where you're going? So it's done, it's finished. It's not fashionable anymore so much to speak about Akhir Zaman, to speak about Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam, to speak about Dajjal. It's not fashionable anymore to speak about the conditions of the Akhir Zaman and how to prepare yourself for that. Because everyone seems to have found a second wind, second chance. Arab springtime. The world is shifting. The geopolitical nature of the world is shifting. And everyone is saying, now is a big chance. We can do so many things. Some Muslim nations that used to be the seat of tariqat, they say, we cannot now speak about Mahdi alayhi salam. Don't. He's going to come maybe 100, maybe 1,000 years. But don't speak as if he's coming now. Don't speak about Dajjal as if he is hiding behind the date trees. Because now is a big chance for us to jump into this dunya. Make no mistake, we're living in the last days. Whether you believe in the Akhir Zaman or not, our death is staring in front of us. Are we preparing for that? Are we living according to that? Are we having the conditions around us to remind us of death? Or every day we're surrounded by just life and just the pleasures and the treasures of this life? The man who is not reminding himself of death, that one doesn't want to meet his Allah. We just prayed the Jummah prayer. And because Shaykh Effendi is putting it in the sohbat, in the khutbah, to remember that, we're remembering that a little bit more. And when you're meeting death, who do you want to meet? What are you taking with you? What is your feeling? Are you rushing to meet? Or are you reluctant to meet? Because you have so many things and people holding you back. Nothing belongs to us. Not our children, not our wives, not our husbands, not our belongings, not our bodies, not our breath, not our life. It doesn't belong to us. It has to return to the owner. Believe in this and think like this. Then that time you're not going to become so emotional, so involved, so controlling over the things that are around you. It is an amanat to you. It is a trust that you have to take care of, but you're not going to say, this is mine, because nothing belongs to us. Then that time, when you understand Allah is the owner, you're not going to have so many headaches too. You're not going to have so many stresses too. You're going to say, Allah is the owner. What is my job? My job is just to take care of it. Some things I can do, some things I cannot. I am not his owner. I am not his Lord. Allah is his Lord. That time you are starting to understand what is in your heart and to separate things. That time, inshallah Rahman, we'll taste a little bit more faith. And when we think of death, we're going to get ready for it. We're going to put good things into our graves. We are not going to do anything, whether it is for the dunya or even for the akhirat. We are worshipping for Allah's sake. There is one story, let me finish with this, and then we wrap up the sohbat. One of the highest, most beloved ones of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Shaykhul Akbar, the greatest Shaykh, Hazrati Muhyiddin ibn Arabi, Qadatullah Sir. He was a very beloved one of Allah. He is the greatest of the Shaykhs. His sohbats, they are for the Shaykhs. They are not for people. And he has a tomb. His tomb is where? Damascus. And the awliya Allah, they are carrying qualities of the prophets. As many prophets as there are, as many qualities that they have, the awliya Allah, there are never two that are alike. There are some, all they do is cry for the mercy of the Lord. There are some that all they do is they're going to scream at people to say, wake up. There are some who are just going to be silent, completely by themselves and worshipping, and there's some they're just very busy talking to people, pulling them. Nobody has the definition to say this is what a prophet is, this is what an awliya Allah is. Allah has already put those meanings and those definitions there. Hazrat Ibn Arabi, he was living at a time when the Khalifa was ruling. Everyone was a Muslim. Everyone was praying. Everyone was rushing to fulfill the 5 daily prayers in the masjid. They were not eating from riba, that this whole world's economy is based on. Riba. They're not having internet, where just from the eyes they lose their faith in everything that they've worked for. They're living in a time when everyone was a Muslim and everyone was following Islam properly. Like this or like that. Even if they're not following Islam 100%, it is 1,000,000,000% better than where we are right now. And he's noticing people. They are worshipping. But he's understanding that people are worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for different reasons. Not because He is Lord, but because they want something, either from this dunya or they want something from the akhirat. So, one day, he's saying to the people, he said, everyone, if you come into the masjid at this time, come and I'm going to give you one piece of gold. People were coming to the masjid, but they were coming empty and leaving empty. Just like today. Today is worse. Because people who are coming, if you ask them, stand outside the masjid and ask, who is the imam today? They don't know. What surahs did he recite? The Zammu Surah. In the first rakat after the Fatiha. Majority are going to not know, not remember. What is the second rakat? They're not going to remember. If you don't remember, you are not there. Bodily, physically, you are there. But your heart is not there. So he's noticing this sickness amongst the Muslims at that time. And he said, everyone, if you come to the masjid, if you come to the jami, he's saying, I'm going to give you one piece of gold. So everyone is saying, oh, he's going to give us gold. Everyone is rushing then to go to the masjid. They rushed that day. Oh, you see, everything is packed. They listen very attentively to everything. They remember every surah. Everything the imam was speaking about, they understand. The Jummah, the words, the question, everything. They understand. They were alive. They were awake. When they came out and they saw him, and he said, we came. Give us your gold. Hazrat Ibn Arabi smiled and he said, the Lord that you just worshipped is under my feet. At that time, there are some squareheads too, Wahhabi type people. They say, what? They say, the Lord that you just worshipped, he was standing in an open area, is under my feet. They say, oh, he's making a shirk. He's saying he's greater than Allah, that he's stepping on Allah. This is what he's saying. Because from the surface, this is what he's saying. The Lord that you just worship is under my feet. But for intelligent people, the ones who are calling themselves believers, believers must have intelligence. There's no such thing as a believer without intelligence. Every prophet was intelligent. Allah is the one who gives that. Intelligent people will think twice before judging, will try to understand the words that he's trying to say. What does it mean? The Lord that you just worship is under my feet. It's not dunya. It is the what? They all came for what? For the gold. He said, if you come to the masjid, you listen to everything, I'm going to give you one piece of gold. So they came, they listened to everything, not for Allah's sake, but for the sake of that gold. And he said, the Lord that you worship just now is not Allah, it is that gold. That is under my feet. They didn't understand him. They start to jump on him, they beat him up, they killed him, and they threw his body into a dumpster. You see the danger of not having real faith? Do you see the danger of thinking that your faith is just what you wear, where you go, how often you go up and down? You see the danger when the faith is not entering into the heart? You become not only foolish, not only you don't have intelligence, shaitan and your ego can lead you. With all your prayers, with all your Quran, with all your knowledge, shaitan can misguide you. Your ego definitely will fail you. It wasn't until later, when Sultan Selim Han, the Ottoman Sultan, the first Ottoman Sultan who took the Khilafat and he became the Khalifatullah for the entire Muslim Ummah. It's a long story, but he had a vision when he was in the Hammam. It was not a vision, it was an opening. And he noticed a man sitting next to him, a very big man. And the Sultan, understanding this is unusual, with all the guards posted, with all the security that was there, this one slipped through and is sitting right next to me, very relaxed, in the presence of Sultan Selim. And the Sultan says, "Who are you?" And this man just smiled. Because it is written, Hazrat Ibn Arabi wrote so many things, but one of the things that is written, yes, about the Ottomans rising. This was hundreds of years ago, before the Ottomans came. Ottomans falling, and how the Ottomans are going to rise back in the Akhir Zaman. And he's speaking about when sin comes to shin, secrets are going to be open. Let me put it easy that way. Sin comes to shin. When sin, Selim, comes to shin, which is what? Sham, Damascus. They exchange a few words. Now Sultan Selim understood. He has to get the blessing of that friend of Allah. He has to locate the area. He went and spoke to his sheikh, and the sheikh made a rabita, located where he was buried when his body was thrown into the dumpster. They cleaned it up and they made a tomb for him that is still standing up till today. Then a sheikh is advising the Sultan, saying there is a secret there. There is a secret there with what happened, his last words. His last words were what? The Lord that you worship is under my feet. They went and they discover the exact place where Hazrat Ibn Arabi was standing when he said, the Lord that you worship is under my feet. And the Sultan says, dig that area. The friend of Allah, they speak the truth. They never lie. Because the people came for gold. So he says, the gold that you're worshipping, it is under my feet. And when they dug underneath, they found 40 jars, big like this, clay jars, filled with gold coins. He was not lying when he said that. He was speaking truth upon truth. that gold from that time up till today, it is still being used to feed the poor people. It's never finishing. And our Shaykh has a very strong connection to Hazrat Ibn Arabi. They went there a couple of times. And he's telling us the story also. You remember how there's one Shaykh that was there? He says, you think I'm tough, he says. You think I'm tough and rough. Because every Jummah like this, the Shaykh is finished in that turba, he's finished his work. There's a long story. Shaykh Effendi would come, he said, he sat all the way to the back. The Shaykh sent one man to say, bring him all the way to the front. And people are coming with offering, trays filled with money. This is what the Muslims, they do. Every Jummah, everyone is coming. Those Muslims who are rich, they're going to give their sadaqah, and the sadaqah is going to be given to the poor people. Every Jummah time. Not just waiting. Well, what do Muslims know these days? They don't even give you water when you come to the masjid. And the Shaykh is taking, he says he's a small man, but he is very tough, he's saying. He is very jalal, and he will just take the money he's giving to people, giving left and right. People are taking it as a barakat, they're keeping it. And he says, he's taking it and he's looking at his khadim, big guys. He says he's not liking what he's doing. Shrug. He says he hit him. Looking at another one, not liking a shrug. He keeps hitting people, and people are running for that blessing to come. And he saw Shaykh Effendi. Certain things happen. Alhamdulillah. Inshallah, if Allah gives us life, step by step, we have to walk in His way. When we are ready, inshallah, the way will be open. May Allah open the way for us and make it easy. May Allah forgive us and make us to be ready. May Allah always have the holy ones to support us and to protect us and to keep us away from our ego and to keep us away from shaitan and the tricks and traps of this dunya. For the sake of the Holy Prophet, al-Fatiha. Amin. Assalamu alaikum.